Modern sociology has something of a bad reputation nowadays, but parts of it clearly still matter, and it arose from a discipline that was once very serious about its subject matter. Important works in this field include Malcolm Feeley's 1979 magnum opus entitled The Process is the Punishment. It chronicles, in the most academically serious terms, the prolonged ordeal of being processed as an accused criminal by a lower court, regardless of the outcome. By all rights, Feeley's book and other subsequent works in the genre should have transformed the world's justice systems for the better. Instead, our elected representatives across any number of jurisdictions have spent their time either shrugging at this body of literature or just being flatly unaware of its existence. Thus, one of this channel's explicit goals is to begin to rectify that, and it's within that framework that the smaller subproblems of asset freezes and civil forfeiture must be seen. There's lots of stories I could cover in this area, so let's just pick one. A little over a month ago, Texan police raided and shut down Texas' biggest poker room, namely the Lodge Card Club, forcing the club to lay off 144 workers who depended on employment there to keep paying their mortgages, their rent, and whatever other life expenses they might have. In the end, Texas succeeded in keeping more than $2 million tied up through civil forfeiture, even though no criminal charges had been filed when the deadline to commence forfeiture proceedings arrived. Meanwhile, the original money laundering allegations appear no longer to be pursued in the filing, and the allegations that remain are the kinds of allegations that could just as well be brought against pretty much any poker room in Texas. On the whole, it looks like the authorities basically walked into a club that was, if anything, stricter about following the rules than most of its competitors, seized funds that mostly belonged to the players, dropped the money laundering theory, and moved to pocket the cash, and basically just shrugged indifferently at the numerous employees affected. The darker theory, widely discussed in poker circles, is that this is some kind of a shakedown or pressure campaign that grey zone systems invite. Now, there's currently no public evidence proving kickbacks, bribery, or any tit-for-tat retribution-style enforcement, so that theory must remain speculation for the time being. But the fact that so many people in poker circles are willing to talk that way says plenty about how far trust in the system has eroded. But in fact, what happened at the Lodge is but a tiny drop in a much larger sea of financial abuse in this area. On March 24, the Institute for Justice released a report called Policing for Profit 4, and the numbers are nothing short of staggering. The report says forfeiture has generated at least $82 billion nationwide since the year 2000, meaning these kinds of seizures are generating over $3 billion a year when averaged over that period. So how does the state get away with this? Partly by nibbling. To illustrate, the report indicates that across 24 states, half of currency forfeitures are under $1,678, while hiring a lawyer to fight the matter is estimated about $3,300, meaning that what happened at the Lodge is actually less abusive than the more typical case, in which the amounts seized are perfectly calibrated to make fighting for your rights in court more or less illogical and financially irresponsible. And unfortunately, that larger sea of abuse is just one part of an even larger ocean of process of punishment failures. That's a problem, and it's a problem I'm going to keep reporting on. This has been Hero to Zero News. Subscribe to stay up to date with privacy, accountability, and write stories as they unfold.